so every time I ask you, Bill, how's your day?
I never had a bad day in my whole life.
How many times do you think you say that every day of your life?
At least a dozen.
Why is that your go-to response?
For years when I was a street officer, tend to get pretty cynical after years. And I got hurt once and I was off the job for a long time. And I told myself that I was going to go back, but I was never going to have a bad attitude again as long as I live. You got your days, but I said, I'm never going to have a bad attitude again as long as I live, and I'm going back to the police department.
So in a time where we preach gratitude and have gratitude journals, I would say you were kind of ahead of your time.
Probably.
Has it worked?
Probably. It
Has
works.
It worked?
I do it every day, and it's surprising when you actually say that. Somebody says, how you doing, how you doing? Fine. They don't pay attention. But if you ask me and I say, I've never had a bad day in my whole life, if you do that, watch what people do. Watch them, because it's astonishing.
I mean, that was my reaction, and now I think I should not answer with just fine anymore. I should start echoing that same positive attitude.
And you'll believe it.
Okay, so tell me, we do security work together, obviously. Tell me your favorite type of thing, since you are a master risk assessor. What is your favorite type of facility to really go in and assess, and tell me why?
Churches and schools, because that's where the largest impact can be. I've studied school shootings, I've studied church shootings, and in some of the school shootings, they tend to be awful. And so if one can develop the ability to prevent one of these incidents, that's what's worth doing. Same with churches, houses, businesses are the same. A lot of them are not really prepared. They may have plans, but they may not be prepared to the extent that they should. And when you see these shootings, when you see them in the public, you see them in the private sector, and you see the reaction of people in there, it tends to be more panic-oriented than properly managed.
Okay, so let's get a little bit more personal. So where are you from?
I was born in Chicago.
Chicago. What do you miss most about Chicago?
Not much. I was raised there for 10 years, and it is not a great city anymore. They've got their issues, obviously. My history there is my uncle, my dad's 20-year older brother, worked for Al Capone and ran booze for Capone. So we were related. We visited with him all the time, which was pretty fascinating. He got shot by one of the rival gangs, lived, and became one of the people associated with the mafia after that. Would often kid with us, come to the mob or join the police. So we did the latter.
What person are you? We know you're the law enforcement type in the field, but who are you at home? What do you like to do? What are your hobbies?
My best friend in the whole world is my wife. We're almost 46 years married. We've got two great grown daughters that are probably older than you, but they are great. They married the guys you want them to marry. We've got a granddaughter here in Woodinville, and then our other daughter lives in Australia. She married in Australia. We've got a granddaughter in Australia, but they are great kids. Patty, my wife, she is the best. She is the best.
What's your favorite thing to play or activity to do with your granddaughters?
Whatever they want to do. The one here is very oriented towards sports. She plays soccer, she plays softball. She has tried volleyball, but she's more soccer and softball oriented. She just finished a 6-week softball camp. She is 9 years old, about to turn 10 next month. She is a sweetheart. The one in Australia, she is also sports oriented. She is in gymnastics. She is just an unbelievable swimmer, and she's learning to play the violin.
You talk about your wife all the time and you adore her, and it's clear. What is something she would describe as one of your most annoying habits?
I've never asked the question, actually. I tend at times to stay up late at night trying to catch up with work, and that, I wouldn't call it annoying, but it's not probably the happiest moment. I mean, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But I tend to stay
You
up
might
late
keep
at
her
night.
up too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay, all right. Where's your favorite place to vacation with your wife? Where do you like to go?
We go to Hawaii. We've been to Australia a bunch of times. That's a great country, great people. I travel to teach, and occasionally she'll travel with me. Upcoming trip, I'm going to teach a class in Rhode Island. We've been to Massachusetts, never been to Boston. We both love history, and so we're going to do a lot of touring. And we're starting to do that on a road trip next month.
Oh, that's so fun. Okay, now if you only had one meal, what's your death row meal? What are you going to eat? What's your favorite food in the world?
Hamburgers.
Hamburgers.
I love hamburgers.
Okay, from a specific hamburger place or just any burger?
You know, there's several. Actually, Patty makes the best hamburgers I've ever eaten, and they are.
Do you have anything you'd like people to know about you?
You know, I love what I do, and I will not retire. I will be getting older in a couple months, and I will not be the guy that sits in front of a television set and kind of wastes away. I won't do it. I've done a lot in my life, a lot. Sometimes people call me an overachiever. I don't see it that way. When I die, I want to stand before God and say I used every last bit of talent I was ever given. Anything less than that's a waste. So that's kind of who I am.
I love that. All right. Thank you, Bill.